Is there? Are we live? Hello everybody. I'm back with another look here at the new Google Pixel. You may have caught the previous broadcast. There was some sort of compression issue on the video. I think it had to do with the Wi-Fi. We switched networks. Should be golden now. So let's dive into it. I've got the hot new phones right here. Now these are the smaller of the two. This is the 5-inch Pixel. There's of course the XL also over here, which is 5.5 inches, slightly higher resolution display. As you can tell, both of them manageable form factors. But the real story here is the design, the aesthetic, and the camera as well. You take a look around, you see aluminum construction as well as some glass at the top. Now, this isn't strictly for looks. This also serves a purpose. What you end up with here is slightly better performance for your wireless antennas, for your cell reception and so on, because it can transmit well through this glass surface. It also allows for you to avoid the camera hump, the dreaded camera hump that nobody wants. So when you place this down on a table, as you'll see here, I can push on every edge and not have that like wobble. The wobble, nobody wants the wobble. I'm sure you're aware. Now the camera, a lot of hype around this camera. If you watch the presentation, you know that the DxO rating on this camera is unprecedented. It scored an 89, which is higher than any other camera that's been tested in the smartphone universe, including the latest iPhone. Now that's a tough thing for me to show you here in this live broadcast. I'm trying to bring this to you real quick here. But what I can say on the sort of preliminary test with this camera is it's super quick and it has some cool functions. So for example, if I snap a photo of this right here, I could just sort of hold down and you see that was 15 photos in a couple of seconds. So the processing is very fast here. There's also this cool lens blur feature where I can snap, I'm gonna try to give slightly more depth of field here. I'll put this back here. If I snap a photo of this case and then slowly elevate the camera up, I'll get a check mark. Now it's processing the lens blur. And what that does is it emulates a shallow depth of field that you would get from a camera with a very large aperture. You can see it blurred out the background there, and now the foreground is in significantly more focus. That can be modified after the fact as well if you decide that you want to change the composition at a later point. So two different colors. This is very silver and this is quite black. Kind of funny names there. Essentially this kind of looks like a very dark charcoal, and then up on the glass portion it's super black as well. Around the device you'll notice it does have a headphone jack. I know a lot of people were kind of upset that this is being removed from some other devices on the market. You do have it here, but you've also got a USB-C connector. So theoretically that could be used for audio in the future as well if you want to keep it strictly digital. But that's also quick charge. So Google is saying that this port here can provide you with 7 hours of battery life on a 15-minute charge over USB-C. That's pretty impressive. Another thing I'm going to want to check out when I get a more comprehensive look at these devices. Holding it in the hand, you kind of get a flashback to like the Nexus 4. I was a huge fan of the various Nexus devices, of course, no longer called Nexus here. It's now Google Pixel, moving into a more premium realm. But I'm reminded of the Nexus 4 and how this feels in the hand. Of course, that one had the completely glass back. This one is a dual material. But around the edges, it's just got that same kind of comfy feel. Another nice little touch here on the power switch, you've got this textured finish. So when you reach down without even looking at the device, you're aware of whether or not you're on the power lock switch or if you're on the volume rocker. Speakers are located on the bottom down here, as you can see. We could probably give those a test real quick, couldn't we? Let's see here. Can I load up some YouTube? Let's give that a quick test. Well, that loads. I just want to show you the difference in form factor between the two. So this one is probably going to be more popular amongst one-handed users. I can easily reach across the display. This one though, probably a better choice for multimedia. Not only is the display bigger at 5.5 inches, but it's also slightly higher pixel density QHD versus full HD on this device over here. Once again, Wi-Fi issues ensue. Can't bring up the YouTube on that one. Let's try it on this one over here. Or this one. I've got multiple opportunities for YouTube loading here. There we go. Something tells me this one's gonna do the trick. There we go. All right, so if I load up some video here, maybe I'll do a quick search for Unbox Therapy. And of course, the famous video from yesterday featuring Ryan. And if you didn't believe I was sick, here's all the evidence in the world. So here you get a sense for audio. So they fire out of the bottom like this, and essentially when you're holding the device in a landscape fashion, that's going to bounce off your hand and kind of project more forward from that perspective. So this is, I mean, what are we talking about here? We're talking about a move into a more premium space, availability on more carriers. You can now get this thing on Verizon, various other popular Canadian carriers. Potentially it'll be subsidized, which would be interesting to a lot of people. Maybe you can pick this up for less than the sticker price. I think that's exciting. Pair that with what's being called the best camera in the business, and all of a sudden you have a compelling package. But that's not all that happened here today. We also had this, the Daydream headset, which it's tough for me to really portray this to you through video, but this thing is incredibly comfortable and incredibly light, and it's something I've been hoping for in the VR space for a while. I've tried all the various universal VR headsets that are on the market, and they all have their drawbacks. Nothing has been put out that's perfect. And one of the biggest drawbacks is the weight of those things. They're all quite heavy. Now this one, on the other hand, super lightweight. There you go, fashion show for you. And made out of soft materials. So extended viewing sessions, in theory, should be a lot more comfy using something like this. Also, getting your device in and out and working with multiple devices. So what they decided to do here is simply have this flip down and one latch. Now on the inside, you're going to notice the new control as well. This could be your input method for the device. And what's nice is you don't need to look at it to understand where your finger is. You have this recessed touchpad on the top. And these buttons are also well identified by the fact that one protrudes and the other is recessed down here. It's going to use a gyroscope type of input method. So for pointing in your VR, it's going to track where you're pointing at, and it's got a nice place to store. Of course, when you're using it, this is where your phone is going to go. It's going to fit right in there, flip up, and then it's going to know that it's been inserted into a VR environment and launch you into the area you would hope to go into. So even with the device in, it's still super lightweight and comfy. Comes in a couple of different colors. This is exciting. Maybe VR is set to take on the planet and become far more popular with a more accessible, universal headset. This will work with this will work with devices beyond just the Pixel as well. If it can fit in here, then theoretically it would work as long as it supports Daydream. So there you have it, guys. A quick look, a first look at the new Pixel. I think it's pretty damn pretty. You'll probably agree with me. Available in two colors, very silver, quite black. I think you're probably going to be interested in this, and definitely stick around because I'll be diving more in depth as this becomes available in the retail form. I'll do a full unboxing video, give you guys some more camera tests, and something I'm especially excited for, the video mode. You will see the 4K video mode with this sophisticated image stabilization that I saw in the presentation. It's like doing all these intense calculations for stabilizing shaky hands like the ones that Jack uses. Thanks for watching, guys.